Hello everyone and welcome to Wingin It. So we have a very exciting live stream game for you today. We have the final of the Vouillé Duck Dash. So for those of you who haven't been following along so far, the Vouillé Duck Dash is a best of 3 single elimination knockout style tournament. So we started with 100 players and now we're down to just 2 as we watch them battle it out for the right to call themselves the tournament champion of the Vouillé Duck Dash. And what a matchup we have in store for you today. Two very talented players today facing off against each other. We have Visme and Groovenstein. So my name is Flan and joining me on commentary for our first game today is Heartseed. So welcome Heartseed, how's it going? Very good, very good. Yeah, I think like I said, got some good players, and it's a best of 3. So we'll have 2 games at least, and if those 2 games are tied at the end of those, we will go through into a deciding game 3. But before we go into the games, I've just got a few interesting little stats on our 2 finalists today, just to run through for you. So, taking a look at these stats, you see we have Visme from Denmark and Groovenstein from the USA. So, current rankings for the 2 players, Visme is currently in 8th with 12.06 ELO, and Groovenstein just a single point behind in 10th on 12.05. So very evenly matched, I think, on current form, it's fair to say. Looking at their head-to-head record, I think Visme does edge that. He has got a better history there, 26 wins compared to Groovenstein's 16. And Visme, as we all know, one of our real veterans of the server, been around a long time, 19 tournament appearances, 8 finals and 2 wins. Although it has been a long time since his last tournament win, so he's going to be hungry for more success today. Looking over at Groovenstein again, slightly newer player, but making up for lost time absolutely. 7 tournament appearances, and in his first final today, so he'll be hoping to convert this first opportunity at a win into that first tournament victory. And we also have a few little fun facts just to go through as well. So first, Wingspan memory. Unsurprisingly for both, getting to grips with the game. So for Groovenstein, that was learning it at his local board game cafe, whereas Visme was stuck at home, scrambling through the rulebook for 3 hours with his girlfriend. I'm sure we can all relate to that, a real struggle there. Favourite music genre, Visme being a recent father, unsurprisingly, listening to baby lullabies. Maybe not the kind of thing you want to be listening to during Wingspan, but there you go. If it helps you relax, then I'm not going to judge. And Groovenstein, Mr. Groove, unsurprisingly, he'll listen to anything that grooves. Favourite beverage, they both favour the caffeine, I think, in the morning. Visme going for the coffee and Groovenstein preferring Diet Pepsi. But they're both water drinkers as well. So, remember kids, stay hydrated, drink your water. And lastly, the favourite activity while playing Wingspan. We know Groovenstein loves running on his treadmill. So hopefully not doing that today. Hopefully he's sat down, relaxed and ready for this game and not doing too much exercise. Visme, on the other hand, as we all know, he loves calculating points, especially as we get into the end of the game in that round 4. So now that we've taken a look at those stats and we've got to know our players a little bit better, I think we can get into the game. So we have Groovenstein, I believe, is going first in this game 1. So Visme, if you're ready, you can send out the invite and we'll get this going. So best of luck to both of our players. All right, how do you feel this is going to go, Heartseed? Who do you favour here? Do you think this is going to go all the way to 3 games?
Depends on the cards, of course. I think based off of experience, Visme, like playing against him, but they're both very good players, and they're both very blessed players as well. So I
Absolutely.
think, yeah.
Absolutely. 2 very strong players, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if this goes to 3. But here we go. We have got our starting hands here. So, yeah, interesting starting hand's not a great looking tray, so normally you think it's quite a good advantage going first, but yeah,
Yeah.
not when you have a tray like that. But probably the
Well, he has the
Grebe is the obvious
green.
keep, but yeah, what do you keep other than the Grebe from that starting hand?
Um, yeah, I mean, maybe the grasshoppers for like maybe he wants to keep the grebe and just a lot of food till he gets a forest bird, basically. And maybe the grasshopper sparrow's okay, but
Yeah, I don't mind the sparrow. I think you look at those end of round goals. You're going to need a lot of eggs for all of those. So if you can get
mm,
some extra eggs from something like the sparrow, I think that makes sense. But yeah, I think my strategy is going to be get both those down, lay some eggs, and then just start drawing cards.
yeah,
Hopefully you go into the deck and you get something good.
he'll
Yeah,
he'll
really,
see
you've
three
just got to
cards at a time, so it's not
exactly,
bad. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And I think if he's laying eggs, that gives himself 3 turns of drawing cards. You're going to see 9 cards, so
Before
lots of
we move
potential
on
there.
to the next one, what do you think about him keeping the rodent instead of an extra grain?
I probably would have kept the seed, just for more
Yeah.
flexibility in terms of that
Mhm.
kind of forest bird. You're really gambling there on getting something like a Cooper's hawk or something. But yeah, it's gonna
Mhm.
it's gonna depend on what he draws. But yeah, we have
Please.
Devim starting hand, probably the nicer starting hand there. I think Morning Dove is a really nice option for the forest.
Mhm.
Interesting. He's looking at the bush tit over something like the Merganser or the yellow throat. What's your take on that?
Uh, Maybe he wants to do a tucking engine. He doesn't really have much for that though. So he was eyeing the yellow throat, it seemed. So maybe just yellow throat and bushta and morning dove. I mean, there's a bit of overlap in food, but
Yeah, there is a bit,
he
but I
has fun.
think if you're playing that morning dove, um, then gaining food is not a dead action. You're getting eggs as well, so I think you
Hmm.
can afford to spend a couple of turns getting the food there. I think certainly the bush tit. I think he's looking at that. It's a strong card, but that star nest as well is going to be really good for those
Yeah,
end of round goals. But to
definitely
back up
to
that, you need the card draw. So I think that's where something like the yellow throat comes in there.
definitely to balance out Groove's Grebe was a very good pickup for him.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got some mentions already of going raven digging. So I know that's sometimes a popular strategy. You have something like the yellow throat and maybe even the Merganser as well. You get both of
Yeah.
those down. You're seeing a lot of cards. Give yourself every chance of getting those good cards. For me, I feel like in this situation, there's too many good cards in there. You can't keep them all. I think certainly the bush tit is one I'd prioritise. At the very least, just for that star nest helping you with the end of round goals.
Hmm.
All right, so we're probably going to see what we expected here from Groovenstein, which is going to be get these 2 birds down. And yeah, just really hope. I don't really see either player taking any of those birds in the tray. Maybe the burrowing owl might be an interesting pickup,
Yeah,
just for
maybe
that star
for
nest. But
Devin.
yeah, yeah, I think I don't know. I think it could make sense. Maybe a little bit further down the line for Groovenstein, but for him, I think at the moment the priority is to get that forest bird. So he can't really afford to be wasting cards taking something like burrowing owl because that does just reduce your chances. But yeah, I mean maybe Devi might look at that. I think certainly if you give yourself 2 star nests, obviously we see that Groovenstein has won himself in the Grebe. The more of these star nests you have, the burrowing owl is going to help for that second end of round goal as well with
Yeah,
those eggs in the grassland. So
helps for absolutely everything. So
absolutely, yeah.
it's
I think
great.
the burrowing owl does often get a hard time just because of that weak power. But 4 egg spaces in a star nest, and if it's going to help, potentially win all of those end of round goals, then that's such a strong card to
Yeah.
have.
Even if it wins just one, that's like 8 points for 2 food. That's not bad.
Absolutely. So quite a nice pull, and an even better pull, I would say there
Hmm.
for Greenstein. That's very nice. So Violet Green Swallow,
Yeah.
very strong card. Those tuck and draws that go in the grasslands are really nice, and as well it has the right nest type for this end of round goal. And I think he took the Food Web Expert as well, bonus card. So probably the
That's great.
perfect card he could have drawn there. And
Get
yeah,
rid of that sparrow.
I think the
Yeah,
Sparrow is the
lovely.
right. Absolutely, yeah. And what I'm just kind of looking at the food he's got and the situation he's in. What do you think about doing a Vireo Hummingbird double play in the forest there?
I mean, it's asking for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you would do.
I think certainly that I'd be very tempted to do that. I mean, obviously, the hummingbird, you'd normally see that in the grasslands maybe as a way of getting food there.
Yeah,
But
it's a utility hummingbird though.
it is,
So
it is, it does go anywhere.
mm.
Interesting if he's going to look to play
Okay. If
in
he,
the wetlands here.
yeah, if he does play in the wetland, it's okay because like he can do a double play with another bird and use that uh, berry
Yep,
to play for Vireo, but then he'll have to lay eggs vanilla, the normal way
exactly.
again. So
Yeah, yeah. It feels a bit of a gamble. You play that
mhm.
hummingbird. Yeah, you're going to get some cherries. You'll be able to play that vireo down, and hopefully get something else to double with that. But you're gambling on getting that something else.
Yeah,
You're hoping for a nuthatch or something to double on that, but there's no guarantee. So
yeah.
yeah, this is a little bit of a gamble, but could well pay
He's
off.
letting Devim contest him for a first end of round goal too. Like if he just did that double
Absolutely.
play, then he'd be,
Yeah,
out of sight, out of mind.
exactly. Yeah, I think he could have gone for that double play, like you say, and then maybe you gain food, get that swallowed down, and the next time you lay eggs, you're going to be laying eggs on three of those nest types. And
Mhm.
really, Devim, as we can see, with just that bush tip, not really going to come close to competing with that.
No.
All right, so probably unsurprisingly, we've seen Devine get the bush tip down. I'm imagining that yellow throat is going to go down next, and just from a
Mhm.
sequencing point of view, I think that makes sense. You are able to see as many cards as you like before tucking. I'm going to stop talking because Groovenstein has again drawn the perfect bird. I think probably he's kind of looking for that forest bird, maybe regretting
Yeah,
using the
he,
rodent on the
yeah.
hummingbird. That's probably the only
Mhm.
thing that's a shame. Oh, he's getting rid of it though. That is bold.
Oh well,
And
hey,
there's the
okay. You know
chickadee.
what? Yeah,
There's
that's
the chickadee he
crazy.
wanted. So I think he's going to get a
Well,
chance of taking this because Devine wants to play this yellow throat. So
yeah,
that is a lifesaver. I think for Groovenstein there, he can pick up that chickadee absolutely no problem, and that's probably an instant double play with the Vireo. You get those two forest birds
yeah.
down as quickly as possible. Um, yeah, that kind of seems like the
That's
right play for
great.
me. Yep.
Mhm. It's good that he's the one who got the burrowing owl as well. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a little bit of a risk, I think,
yeah, yeah.
picking it up, and obviously he would have got the chickadee, benefit of hindsight of everything. But yeah, I think it's smart. It's planning ahead. It's recognizing the value of that. Maybe he's seeing that rodent in the bird feeder as well, and thinking, okay, if I can get my hands on that. Oh, and there we
Aw,
go. That always seems to happen when you've just built a strong wetlands. You get the Franklin's gull.
yeah.
However, there's two
That's
birds in the
sad.
tray that go really nicely with that gull, so
Yeah, the
I wouldn't be
blackbird is
surprised
good.
yet he's going to go straight for that blackbird. So probably that bush tip. Not going to see too many more tucks on that. I think it's mostly going to
Yeah,
be relegated to just using those star nest egg spaces.
it's a lot of
Um,
egg space though.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so Davim's have to think a little bit carefully here. Obviously, he's got the bush tip where you need to tuck and the yellow throat where you need to discard. I think ideally he'd look to keep that sparrow just as a way of getting some more points,
Hmm.
getting some more eggs for those end of round goals.
Those free berries though might help
Mm,
Davim a bit. He just needs
absolutely,
well,
absolutely.
some specific stuff, but it speeds him up a lot.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think Davim he's in that luxury position of like you say getting that free food. I think he can afford to draw cards this next turn. And then maybe he gets something that's not great, but then you toss that for extra food in your forest, and yeah, I
Uh,
think he puts himself in a position to be able to get both of these strong grassland birds down in that round two, and then he can just go to town and start drawing some strong cards.
yeah. What do you think of instead of the double? I guess he needed to do
I
this
think
for
it's
the
for the end of
EOR.
I think
Yeah.
it's for the end of round. I think
Yeah.
yeah, because he would have had to lay eggs and then play both cards, so you're then
It
tying the end
means
of
he'll
round.
have to
Yeah.
either spam the hummingbird like 3 times,
Mm,
though,
I
or
would consider that a play just for
yeah.
the end of round. I think it's a little bit
Okay.
short-sighted. I think he's able to win this end of round goal instead of tying it, so that is going to be worth 3 points. But
Mm,
in terms of that tempo, you know, like you say, he kind of relegates his option to just spamming that hummingbird.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see your opponent play that Franklin's Goal, you're really going to want to limit the amount of free food you're giving them. So yeah, it's going to be a bit slow, I think, trying to get the food, to get this chickadee, and hopefully this Vireo down as well. Yeah, kind of does slow down the tempo a little bit here, I think, for Grunstein.
Yeah, I guess I don't mind it because if he picks up a lot of cards, then he can just, cycle them later and he'll be laying eggs anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, drawing cards isn't bad for Grunstein. Like you say, you kind of need as many cards as possible to cycle through. Ooh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't see
Do
that.
you still play the wood duck? He's just drawn
I
the wood
don't. I
duck.
have a black screen, so you just
Okay.
keep going.
I'll keep going. You might need to really load the stream. But yeah, so Gruvenside
Mhm.
did go for cards there, and he's drawn the wood duck, so probably a turn too late. He would maybe have liked to have picked that up before he played the swallow. But yeah, that does seem to happen in this game. Like we saw with Devine, you play the bush tit and then immediately draw the Franklin's Goal. So yeah, Wingspan has a way of doing that for you. Oh my god, and Devine has just drawn the American Crow as well. So that might just be game over. As soon as he gets that gull and that crow down in his
Yeah.
grasslands, that is going to be so many points. You're going to be getting food and eggs and cards all at the same time. So yeah, it's I think he's probably behind a bit on the scoreboard, just in terms of points on the board at the moment for Devine. But yeah, once those strong grassland birds go down, he's just going to be able to go to town, laying eggs in that grassland, and yeah, basically getting everything he needs here.
What do you think of Waxwing first? I don't
I
think it's worth it, but maybe.
I see. I like it. I think for me in this position, I probably prefer the Waxwing to the Blackbird, and you can see
Yeah.
Davine is sort of having second thoughts here. I think getting one food a turn, it can be quite slow, using that crow. But the
Yeah.
Waxwing, even if it is only cherries, I think that's it's enough. He's got
He has things that can pay. It pays for stuff. Yeah.
exactly. He can potentially use the first cherry to pay for the crow. He's got that king rail that he's probably going to play at some point. That can eat a cherry in the wild food spot. So yeah, certainly I think that for me is the right play to ditch the blackbird there. Yeah, and if you get the cherries from the waxwing, you can always turn those into extra food if you have the right number of cards in your grassland. So
And he has a lot of egg space for that, so it's more
exactly.
flexible. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me that's the right play at least. I think he's already got the cherries to play the waxwing. If he's fortunate and gets another free cherry here from Groovenstein's hummingbird, obviously Groovenstein not knowing still about that gull. If he does get that free cherry, you can go for the waxwing and the Franklin's Goal straight away. And yeah, that's just going to set you up so nicely in future turns.
Yeah, I kind of hope to, or I understand why he picked the king rail. He also earlier he picked like a double play bird. I wonder, like instead of a whooping crane, I think maybe that if he was gonna get free food, whooping crane wasn't a bad idea, but it would have worked
Yeah,
well with the last wing too. But
yeah. I think he has struggled a little bit with these wetland draws. I mean, we see it is such a nice card draw. I think having obviously the two cards and then you get to see another two from the yellow throat. But when you have to discard one and tuck another one, you're getting rid of half the cards you just drew. So when you draw some really nice ones, it's very difficult to know, which ones of these should I look to play. And yeah, it is always difficult. And sometimes you might tuck one and regret it and wish you'd done something different. But yeah, so we do see Davimi's getting the crow down here. I think he is still kind of gambling on getting some of these free cherries.
yeah,
The longer that Groovenstein doesn't know about this gull, the more he's going to keep spamming cherries. So, yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a dangerous game, I think, at the moment for Groovenstein. But he's none the wiser because Davim is keeping this as hidden as possible.
hmm yeah. I guess American Crow signals it the least, so that's okay.
Yeah, I think if you played that Waxwing, you would start to have a suspicion because you think, okay, why would you play the Waxwing when you
Yeah, you
have
already have the bush tit,
yeah
right? Yeah,
you have decent access to food already in your forest and not a super strong card draw. So playing something like the Waxwing, I would almost never see the Waxwing played unless the gull's going with it. So yeah, he has played it now. I'm only imagining that he is going to lay eggs on this next turn. Probably tuck. I don't know. He kind of needs to tuck something, but maybe
They're
because
all
he's got
good
that
cards for his
fishery
bonus,
manager. That's
so
the thing.
yeah.
He's got the fishery manager, so I think he wants to keep both of those wetland birds at least. Because when you are running Franklin's Goal, you can afford to play those big point birds in your wetlands because you can save those spaces. You don't have to spend those spaces on other kinds of birds. Now, what do you think of that play from Groovenstein right there? 2 double birds and no third bird afterwards.
Well, it's definitely not ideal.
No, and it's interesting considering that there is a nuthatch in the tray, so they could easily have picked that up on a previous turn, I think, and played that instead of the wren. I don't exactly understand. I know it's works for the bonus card. Works for the bonus card and has the egg spaces, but I don't know. You're missing out on points by not getting the cached food. So I still feel like the nuthatch would have been the better longer term play there. It's always odd when you have a double bird like that and don't use the power.
Right. It's odd, but I think it's kind of like an even play. Like it's not bad. It's just neutral.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So Davim finally gets the Franklin's Goal down. Been long enough that he's had that, and that might just be the end of the game already. I think it's really going to be such an uphill battle for Groovenstein here. You look at the cards in his hand; they're really not great. Maybe something like the Sandpiper. I think I'd probably look to play. Junko is again, like we said with the Waxwing, when you don't have great card source, it's risky playing these kind of tucking birds that don't cycle through, that sort of you're losing cards effectively. So I think I can only imagine if he's doing that, he's going to look to get that Sandpiper down as soon as possible to improve his card draw.
I actually thought his game plan was going to be Violet Green Swallow, and then have his that owl, and then just keep cycling for better and better cards while winning this end of round goal. I thought that was safe, but maybe he gave up on it, and he didn't have to though. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think he did maybe give up on this end of round goal a little bit too early. Like
but
you say,
he's giving up on the other ones.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
if he doesn't play that owl soon.
I think the owl has to go down at some point. He spent time taking it earlier on in the game. It is always a waste when you kind of do that and don't make the most of those cards. But I think he I don't want to say it, but I feel like maybe the pressure's getting to him a little bit. There have been some slightly odd moves. I think this is not what I'd normally see from Groovenstein, but when you're in a position like this and you see the Franklin's Goal, it's not fun to see that on your opponent's board. But like we said, this is best of 3, so it doesn't matter what happens in this game 1. If you could win games 2 and 3, you're still going to win overall. So as Tuck and Cash says in the chat, killed it. It's probably the only card I think that would turn things around for Groovenstein. So he will get that benefit of seeing the tray in round 3 at least. And I think he's just got to really hope that something good comes up in that tray.
What? Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. I feel like the other birds in his hand, the Sandpiper for me is an obvious play. It's such a strong bird, 5 points for 1 food, and it helps the bonus card. Really, the other two, the catbird, can you afford to get the catbird down? Where's that food coming from? He's not really got a strong forest.
Like he was using the black chinned hummingbird.
No.
Like he had it for a long time, so he could have played the catbird at one point.
Yeah, and he's just tucked the Sandpiper as well. So the 2 birds in his hand that I liked have been tucked, and the 2 birds that I didn't like have been kept. That is a very strange decision, I feel, and
so what is he gonna do? Grab cards twice and do the double play, and then I don't know.
Probably, but then you're giving free food to your opponent who has a Franklin's Goal. You're giving away free cherries, and obviously I know Davim's going to be getting plenty of cherries himself from that Waxwing, but you really don't want to be giving free food away to a Franklin's Goal opponent. He's just going to be able to run that grasslands for even longer and get some more of these big point birds down.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a lack of synergy with some of Groot's plays here. Because
Yeah,
he could have gone, like, he had a lot of directions he could have gone in.
absolutely.
As long as he committed to one of them, he would be okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, at the moment as it stands, he's getting food in every habitat. I think it's a case of spreading the cards a little bit too thin. I think if you kind of, if you focused, if you had the hummingbird and the junco and the violet green swallow all in that grasslands, I think that could potentially be a strong option. Especially if you added the sandpiper, and maybe another wetland bird to just increase your card draw and allow you to feed that junco and the swallow, then you give yourself every chance. But yeah, it just feels like the
Barriers,
card
okay.
draw. Yeah, the Harry's okay. Some of these card draws, I don't know. The Wren could be a good option. It does work with that double play, and it's going to help him get more cards for tucking
Yeah.
under that junco. But yeah, not exactly the kind of cards I think that the Groove was looking to draw there.
No, no. Yeah, Devim just has a lot of good cards right now.
I think so. I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
the only real decision I think for him on that last turn was, do I try and get this chipping sparrow down? I think he wanted to, but for the end of round, it was important to lay eggs there. He might still look to play it. I think it is good in the sense that he kind of needs that fourth grassland bird to get extra eggs, but then you're going to get another one from the chipping sparrow as well, and it's going to help for this third end of round goal. So yeah, I think for me that makes sense. That woodpecker is a really nice pull as well. We're talking about strong birds that are going to eat cherries from that waxwing. That
Yeah.
woodpecker is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do see the wren going down. I wonder what he's going to pick up. I would probably have my eyes on that brant, for similar
Yeah.
reasons to the wren. It is going to help increase your card draw there, just to at least give you stuff to tuck under that junco.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can play your whatchamacallit bird really easily. The wheat one. The swan.
The swan, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. I think he needs that third forest bird as well, really, just to at
Yeah,
least
good.
give yourselves a chance of getting more food. At the moment, only 2 food a turn there. Obviously, we know he's got the potential to get food from his other habitats as well, but it is still only 1 at a time, which is a bit slow. And certainly, you compare that to what Davima's got set up, where he's getting 2 food, as well as all those other points and cards from the grasslands. It's going to be so hard for Groove to compete with that.
Yeah.
Right, so we do see the chipping sparrow go down. I think there was some concerns maybe in the chat about egg space. If you're getting this many eggs, but
It's okay. He
it's
has the king
fine.
rail.
It's exactly. I mean, even without the king rail, it's fine because
Morning dove,
you
bush
might
tit, yellow throat, like
you might be laying 5 eggs, but the gull discards 1, the crow discards 1. You're only gaining 3 a turn. He's already got 19 spaces as it is, so that's enough for 6 turns of laying eggs without any concerns about filling up. Like you say, that king rail is going to solve that problem before too long. And you see, he's already got the fish and the worm to play it. So yeah, I think in a position like this where you have those bonus card birds, it's never a bad idea to get them down early. It does help sort of guide your play, especially with something like the gull where you're seeing a lot of cards. It just helps, give you extra information to know which ones you should really be looking to keep.
Yeah. Okay, so House Finch first.
Ooh, that's a nice pull. That's a nice pull on the bonus card. So 4 points already from the bowl nests, and potentially, we're still only in round 3. Certainly, if he's going to play that Wren and that Brant, that's going to give him another shot. But Davim, whatever you can do, I can do better.
Damn.
I'm going to draw the Omnivore Expert, and yeah, always nice when you play a bonus card bird that is then counting towards that bonus card you've just got as well. So yeah, Omnivore Expert, probably one of the better ones he could have got there, and free
For
6
sure.
points, and maybe he's going to draw some more of those birds later in this game as well. Okay, so going for food for Groove, I'm
Getting that loaded,
intrigued.
maybe?
Yeah, I'm intrigued why he didn't play the Wren first. I mean, if you play the Wren, you can get that extra food without affording to discard.
Yeah.
cards here. I think he kind of needs every card he can get his hands on at the moment if he's going to try and run that Grasslands with the Junko.
Yeah.
It does feel a bit of a shame to be discarding here, but yeah, I'm interested to see what his plan is. He has gone for that rodent, so you did mention the Harrier earlier as a potential option. Certainly looks like that's one he's going to explore here.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't have too much really to say about Devine. He's just kind of cycling through that Grasslands like normal. You know, he's going to have turns like this where you draw two not great birds with the Franklin's goal, but it doesn't matter. You know, he's just scored 4 points on that turn. He's got a couple of food. Yeah, he's putting himself in a really strong position here. Probably, I think, got enough to win this end of round goal as well. I think even I don't know. Maybe it might be close. I think you know Groovy's gonna have to lay eggs sooner rather than later if he's going to be able to try and compete for this end of round goal. But certainly, yeah, I think Davine's got himself in a strong position with all of these bowl nests as well. Okay, interesting going for cards here.
Oh.
Some really good pulls though. There's Tauhi and the Robin.
Yeah.
He just if he'd got those maybe a round earlier,
Yeah.
that would
The
have been
tally
perfect.
isn't good anymore, but
No,
yeah.
I think the Robin may just about still be worth playing.
It's gonna be. It will pay for itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if it is that fifth bowl nest, that if that helps him win this end of round goal as well, then it's worth another 3 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It felt odd going for cards there. You know, you've got
It
cards like the
is.
Brant and the Wren that you've been holding on to for so long. Yeah, interesting. And I think he did activate the Hummingbird as well. So
Yeah.
I think at this point he's kind of taken the strategy of, well, my opponent's already got loads of foods. I'll just throw a few more cherries at him. It's not too big of a deal.
So, I guess one seems a lot safer. So a Robin and the Harrier, or like the yeah, I thought he was gonna do that.
Yeah, I think Robin Catbird makes sense. I think Motherlove did mention that in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the Catbird is going to basically work the same as the Robin if you're going to copy that Swallow. And yeah, if you place both of those, that's going to max out the bowl nest bonus card he just picked up recently. So it's going to be worth a few extra points as well. But yeah, I think the end
He's
game
gonna have to
here
use that
is
Brant
okay.
soon,
But
though,
yeah, well, I don't know. I think he might. At this point, you
because
probably
he wants
leave
to
it.
repeat. He wants to
Yeah,
repeat on the Junko, or maybe not, right?
I
Yeah.
think he can get away with just repeating the swallow. You know, I think
Okay.
you lay eggs here, you get that Robin down, and then just use whatever food you get from the Junko to play that Swan. I think he probably has
Right. That's
just
good
enough
enough.
turns to get the right food for that. But yeah, I think that's probably the play. You know, he's got 6 cards in his hand and 6 turns left. So if on every turn you're either playing a card or tucking a card, then you've got the perfect amount. So I think
Yeah.
you should be okay in that regard.
Right. So Devim has most of the end of round, and
Yeah, I think well, Groovenstein won the first one, and then I
yeah.
think Devine won the second one, and Groovenstein's going to win this third one.
Okay, so
and,
it's gonna be even.
and I
Then.
think Devine was looking like he's going to win that last one as well, just purely from that King Rail, but also the Morning Dove and the Bush Tip. You know, it's kind of a no-brainer there to win that end of round. So yeah, they will split the end of rounds. I think bonus cards are probably going to be quite even as well, but you kind of look at, you know, points on the board, you look at how many eggs and tuck cards that Devim is going to end up with. I think that is probably going to be too much for Groovenstein to keep up with at this point.
Yeah, Groovenstein's a bit thin compared to Devim here. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, we see. Oh no, Devine did Devine win that end of round goal?
Oh no.
That
Yeah, he did.
he did. So, but Groovenstein could have tied that because he did lay 5 eggs.
He, sometimes you just.
Sometimes you just forget. I mean, I've done that on stream. I've laid eggs in the wrong nest and lost an end of round goal that I should have won. Yeah, very odd. He certainly could have done. He could have laid eggs, I think, in all the right nests there. But Well,
Yeah,
that's
there's
another
one
3
duck.
points gone. Probably not going to make a difference to the result of this match, but yeah, not the kind of mistake you'd want to be making in a game like this. Okay, so just from Davim's perspective, trying to work out what he's going to try and do in this last round. I think probably that was it the woodpecker. I think that's
Yeah.
probably one he'd look to get down. I think, did he take the fishery manager bonus? So that pelican, if that's his
Yeah,
fourth
it's
one,
all right.
it's all right. Yeah, it's not 5 points on its own, and you're losing 2 eggs. It's not great. But if it gets you extra points, yeah, there you go. He has got fishery manager. If it gets you another 5 points from that, then yeah, potentially still
It's
worth
worth
playing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, I think Groovenstein's kind of end game here is pretty straightforward. You go through the tucking, you get some extra food. There's the kill deer
Hey.
that he would have hoped for. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think that's the right reaction.
Yeah.
Where was that 2 rounds ago? Like all these other
Mm.
birds, the robin and the towhee that he drew as well. Sometimes Wingspan gives you the right cards, but at the wrong time. So slightly unfortunate there, but what can you do?
Yeah. Davim's gonna try to look for falconer bird. Maybe if you can get what's it called? The ibis, that one? Ibis.
Yeah, I think
The
something like that is going to work. Really, I think he kind of is looking for that
even a
strong.
cheaper one.
Yeah, he's looking for that strong fishery manager bird as well. But yeah, Falconer, not the bonus card he was hoping for there. But again, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. It does kind of feel like he's still going to win this game just purely from the points he's managed to score already.
Yeah, so it looks like Groove isn't going for his full you know,
Yeah, I noticed that he didn't. He chose not to play the Robin. I don't know. Maybe I can
it's
understand
like
that.
3.
I guess.
That's one food for like at least 6 points though. So
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you look at it, you think, okay, I'm playing a 1 point bird and losing 2 eggs, so it's negative 1 points on that turn. But like you say, you're getting those extra tuck cards, you're getting those extra eggs because it's your 4th grassland bird, as well as those bonus card points. So yeah, I feel like that would have made sense to play that still. But yeah, Grufenstein taking the Kingfisher, that's probably one that Davine would have liked to take. Obviously, that's going to help the fishery manager and the omnivore, so that would have been a nice one. But I think he's probably still just going to settle for this pelican on the last turn, and yeah, it's still not a bad turn by any means. And yeah, skipping the gull, I think that's a signal of his intent that I'll keep what I've got here. I'm happy to play this pelican and just take the guaranteed points that you're going to get from that.
mhm.
Okay, so yeah, I think Gruenstein, I'm hoping, is he going to skip? He is. So yeah, left himself very smartly with those 3 seeds, nearly filled up on the egg spaces, which is nice. But yeah, left himself with the food and 8 points. I think from that last turn is never bad. And he scored respectably. I think with all those tuck cards, so using the catbird
Yeah.
to double up. So he will have scored strong in this last round. I just feel like it's probably not quite going to be enough
Yeah.
to catch up with Davim here. But I must say, I think this is going to be closer than I would have called it to be.
I
Certainly even
wonder
halfway through that round too.
why he didn't just play the swallow instead of the catbird. If he, I guess he changed his mind, right? But
Yeah,
it's only good if he
I
does both.
assumed when the catbird went down that he was going to play both of those birds. But yeah, maybe it was just a change of heart. Um, partway through that round, but yeah, we'll see. Davim obviously taking that lead there in the end of round goals. So as the scores are going to count up, it will be interesting to see just how just how close this is. Groove looks like he's going to keep it fairly close, but yeah, those bonus card points I think for Davim are nice, and obviously yeah, plenty of
Eggs.
eggs and plenty of tuck cards as well. So
Yeah.
looks like Davim is just going to hold on to this. but those are two very
Oh,
respectable
that's actually
scores.
very close, though.
Very, very close. Much closer, certainly, than what I expected. So, yeah,
Because
well played.
that that end of round that he
Mm.
missed out on, and
Yeah,
just
those
a
3
few small
points.
things.
Yeah, there were a few
Jeez.
points. Certainly some points on the table. I think they're for Groove. And yeah, I mean, I said at the time I didn't think it would make a difference in the end, but you start to add up some of those. You go, okay, maybe 3 points here, 2 points there, another point here. They do add up as you start to count all of them. So yeah, potentially, maybe Groovenstein could have brought this even closer. But certainly, 94, considering the real predicament he found himself in, I think in that second round especially,
Yeah.
that was a strong performance there to bring that back so close.
Mhm.
Okay, so just in between games, I believe we might be having a change of commentary. I'll just check in before I kick you off and then don't get anyone to replace you. That would
Yeah,
be
I'll still listen
less than
in.
ideal. Yeah,
I
please
think
don't leave me.
Elsie's around as well, so
Yeah, we've got some
there he
options.
is.
Yeah, I think we will just take a very short break just between games, but don't go anywhere. We will be starting game 2 in probably 3 or 4 minutes time. So yeah, please do stick around. Like I said, best of 3, and I'm sure Groovenstein is going to be working hard in that game 2, and hopefully will take us to a game 3, which is always fun on streams like this. All right, hello everyone. Hopefully you are still with us. We are about ready, I think, to start game two. But before we do, we have a quick change of commentary. So thank you very much to Heartseed for joining me in game one. And now for game two, I'm joined by Motherlove. So how did you find game one there, Motherlove?
Hello. Well, I found it by clicking the link in the Discord.
Very funny.
No, but a really, really close game. I think I speak for everyone here when I say I did not expect Groove to make it this close.
Absolutely, yeah. I was certainly
a
surprised.
couple really, really good draws at the end of round 3 here, and a very solid last round.
Yeah, I think that's what brought Groovenstein back so close. Really, that it was so strong in that final round. You know, scored a lot of points, managed to get that swan down as well. So yeah, some really nice plays there. But oh, as we see the starting hands, it's all looking very familiar here for Davim.
Wait, are we seeing the starting hands? I'm not seeing the starting.
Oh, have you not got them up yet?
No, I'm watching the stream on YouTube. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, you'll need to get it up in Discord as well. So we have Davim with a Killdeer and a Junko and a Cedar Waxwing. So Waxwing obviously carried over from last game. We saw the Junko last game, but for Groovenstein. But yeah, I think Killdeer Junko probably is the sensible play. But it's going to be interesting with these house rules. So obviously he can't play the Killdeer in this round one. Not a whole lot really to go off in the tray. And not a whole lot else in his hand, you know, no real forest bird, nothing to at least get some card draw in this first round in the wetlands. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this and, you know, keeps that tempo up in this first round.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you can't keep both. So they're gonna have to just take cards and tuck them underneath the Junko and have a slow round, it seems like.
Yeah, it looks like he's keeping the Heron. Now, is that just to feed the Junko and get a seed? Or do you think he's actually looking to play that? Because he kept the wetland scientist bonus card as well.
I think that's just because he regretted not keeping it last game.
Quite possibly. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, you kind of see these birds in the tray, the stork and the spoonbill. I think those are the cards he'd want to be picking up later in the game. You know, it's probably not worth at this point.
Yeah, especially because
taking those, but
he's going to be tucking a whole lot at the beginning without making a lot of cards. So.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. If he's going to try and use that Junko in that first round, he's going to need cards. And at the moment, you draw one card a turn, and so you draw a card and you tuck it under the Junko the next turn, which is
yeah. Maybe it's a middle ground, you know. You keep it just in case. Maybe you tuck it. Maybe you play it.
Absolutely.
Really good hand for Groove here, though.
Yeah, I think
really good.
Some good options. I think certainly the Woodpecker and the Grebe are kind of instant keeps. I think at this point. Would you look to keep the Barn Owl as well, just for that second cavity nest?
Yeah, I think the Barn Owl gives you the first end of round goal essentially.
Yeah.
And
point. Yeah.
I don't know if you play in the forest or in the prairie.
It's a difficult one. I think yeah, certainly for that first end of round goal. If he can get that down, those 4 egg spaces give him you know, some good options for maybe getting points in that first end of round goal. But yeah, I think it might be again a little bit of a slow start. You know, you kind of you keep 3 nice birds. He's got the 2 food. I'm assuming that woodpecker's going to go down. There is only 1 rodent in the feeder though, so maybe might struggle a bit for food early on.
Yeah, obviously what we know and that Groove doesn't know is that the Visme doesn't have a Tweebird in sight.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that's kind of the weakness really from Davim's setup. But yeah, he's took the blackbird there. What are your thoughts on that? You know, not the kind of bird you look to normally play with a Killdeer, but is it maybe just something to at least accelerate that first round a little bit?
I'm not entirely sure. I think they might be playing blackbird, and obviously they took a Squiggly Boy, so they're probably going to try and play both. Probably play the Junko first, get a seed from the Junko, play the blackbird, and have sort of a mixed engine like that.
Yeah, so if he is going to do that, you would expect then that the Heron is going to get tucked under the Junko just to give that seed. But yeah, certainly I think that makes sense. You know, you lay eggs, you get the seed, you play the blackbird, and now you've got eggs to discard and get extra cards. So, you know, maybe I think if he does play that blackbird, that might give him opportunities to draw the spoonbill and the woodstalk, because, you know, certainly from Groovenstein's perspective, those are not cards that he's going to be looking to draw. You know, he needs to get those engine building cards, not those kind of late game point bombs at the moment.
It is always unfortunate when they come up early.
It's a shame. And you know, with this heron as well, these are exactly the kind of birds you dream of drawing. You know, in rounds 3 and 4. But yeah, that's how the game goes sometimes. And I don't think David really has too much to complain about, considering the Killdeer Junko start. That is going to be so strong for him.
It's a really smart start from the Vim actually, because I was just thinking of a much slower start. Now he's going to be able to play the Blackbird, immediately start throwing eggs away, and
Agreed. I never really even looked at the Blackbird as an option, but yeah, I think he's planned this out really well. You know, he saw that worm in the feeder. He knows, okay, I can pick that up. I can get the seed from the Junko. I get this down, and yeah, you know, we see so many times that this first round in particular can be so slow when you're trying to wait to play Killdeer. But this actually, you know, gives him a bit of tempo. It allows him to see some cards. He's going to get some tuck cards, some points, and also, you know, eventually he'll get some food as well from that Junko to play the Killdeer. And also, you know, that Blackbird helps the bonus card, is a bonus for the next end of round goal as well. So certainly not a bad option.
Just a really smart start from the Vim here.
Very smart, very smart. So we just saw Groovenstein. He is nabbed to the Wren, but I'm going to stop talking about that because again, always seems to happen. I start talking about one thing and another player draws an OP bird. So yeah, that's a big draw. It goes without saying, I think, for Davine there. Yeah, he's gonna have to work out the right way to get all these down. You know, do you spend a turn taking that rodent from the bird feeder? You probably do, just to at least give yourself the chance of getting that raven down as soon as possible.
Yeah. I think he's debating keeping the house wren just to have a cavity nest, but he's not gonna get it down anytime soon.
I'm wondering. I don't know. I'm wondering if he wants that to tuck under the Junko and get, because he want to lay eggs at some point. To you know, get the end of round goal. But he'll want to take food as well to make sure that he gets that rodent. So you want to give yourself enough turns to get the right food. I mean, probably, you know, he's going to change plans here and try and get that raven down first, because at least if the raven's down, you can, you know, get the food easily to play the Killdeer. But yeah, it's certainly a handbrake turn there for Davine. As soon as you see the raven, drop everything and change all of your plans.
You can see just the rate at which he was clicking just instantly stopped.
Yeah, he's normally pretty fast player.
Yeah.
He's normally fast. He'll click, draw, tuck that, get the egg, go, next turn. The raven comes up and it was, oh my god, what have I just drawn? So yeah, don't really blame him for that.
I'm kind of surprised that Groove is not spamming the forest action as much as he could before the Vim gets a cavity nest down.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, obviously time is still a little bit on his side. I think Davine does want to get that house wren down, but for me, I don't really see the priority there. You know, yeah, you're going to get a few free eggs, but I just think he's going to get so many more points if he can focus on getting this raven and Killdeer down as soon as possible. You know, don't necessarily think that getting the house wren down, you know, where do you play the house wren? Do you play that in your grasslands? Are you really going to do that? That to me feels like a little bit of a waste at this point of the game.
Yeah, no, you have to take it. Regarding the chat is debating right now whether they play Raven or Killdeer first. I think you definitely play Killdeer first, because you can, in theory, just play with Killdeer Junko without even needing the Raven.
Yeah, well, so my initial thought here is you lay eggs here, you tuck the house wren, you get the seed, you then play that Killdeer, have 3 turns laying eggs. That's going to get you food to play the raven. But he's kind of really overthinking this a little bit. You know, he's kept that house wren, which really the only option here is to lay eggs and tuck it. But he then sort of, you know, dabbled a little bit with, oh, do I draw cards? But you can't draw cards because then you have to discard from the Junko and you lose this first end of round. So yeah, he made his mind up on the previous turn and then almost thought about changing it before he really had a chance to.
It's going to be a really fast 1-2 for the Vim here.
I think so. Like we said, he's a quick player, but this is so straightforward. You know, you get the Killdeer down, and then you just start laying eggs. You get the tuck cards, you get the food, you get that raven down, and yeah, Groove is probably going to hit his head on the table when he sees that killdeer, and then he's probably going to jump out the window when he sees the raven come down after it.
Wolf did promise us a 3-game win for him.
He did indeed. And if he is going to win, it is going to have to be in 3. So yeah, we'll see how it works out for him. Not great draws here, I think, at this point. Maybe the Vouillé is probably the best of the bunch. That Star Nest is going to help for this end of round. Interesting that he's gone for the Hummingbird now. He's probably thinking that Groover's got the kill there.
No, he's trying to stop the full tech.
Oh, potentially. But again, it comes back to this point of you see your opponent play Junko with a really weak card draw. Groove's a smart enough player. He'll know that Davim is a smart enough player to not do that unless he has a killdeer. So I can only imagine that Groover was expecting the killdeer and decided to deny the Hummingbird. But obviously, as we know, and as Groove is going to know in about 3 turns, that is not going to make too much of a difference here.
Yeah, it's not that simple. You could take the Clark Squib immediately, actually.
Yeah, I think that
Just to have a cavity nest. I'm not entirely sure.
Potentially, I don't know. I think, 5 points for a food is nice. It's going to help with the end of round goal as well. So yeah, maybe it wouldn't surprise me. Downy Woodpecker's a nice draw.
That is a really nice draw. No, what are you doing?
Okay. Well, he's gone for the Grebe. Yeah. I would have preferred the Woodpecker there. I think with something like the Killdeer drawing that many cards, you're going to find a strong forest bird to play with that Woodpecker, and suddenly you're getting a lot of points, and you solved your cavity nest problem. So
I mean, I'm a huge fan of double birds in the woods, especially with this kind of engine. You're just creating more X spaces.
Absolutely, with this kind of engine, like double birds are the most precious birds you can draw because you've got so much food because you've got 1 from the Junko and you've got 2 from the Raven. So having those big food turns where you're spending like 5 food, 6 food playing birds, you can afford to do that. But like you say, often egg space is the problem. You can see, Davim's already starting to fill up a little bit, so you kind of need those double birds not only to give you egg space, but actually help clear more egg space, by playing all those extra birds. So, yeah, I probably would not have gone for the Grebe having drawn the Woodpecker. I think at that point you draw from the deck and hopefully look to keep that Woodpecker instead.
Yeah, exactly, because he's not pressed for time, and I don't think Groove was looking into taking the Grebe anytime soon.
Absolutely. So we've got some debate in the chat over whether this is a strong point scoring engine or not. Now, on the surface, you lay 3 eggs and you discard 2 of them. You're not scoring a lot of points there. But just for anyone who's really not experienced the kind of Killdeer Raven engine, this is not about the points that you score activating it. This is all about the points you score from playing birds. So, that Killdeer is going to let you see so many cards, and then the Raven gives you the food to play them. So, absolutely, if you can score a couple of points while doing that, I think that's okay. I think 2 points, 3 points from this kind of engine is fine because you're going to score way more than that when you play big point birds later in the game.
No, but it is a good point to make, though. Killdeer Raven is a resource engine, it's not a point engine.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has the Junko. I think he could have kept the Meadowlark.
Yeah, I did see him. He kind of looked at it, and this is where you kind of like try and read a player's body language through a mouse and a keyboard. Yeah, he kind of did look at it a little bit. I'm interested keeping the Bluebird now. Obviously, it's the cavity nest that he's kind of looking at, but he's not really got that second grassland bird, so I can only imagine he's kind of gambling on, eventually that Killdeer is going to give me something. And like you said, with these double birds, absolutely the kind of birds you look to play when you're running this kind of resource engine.
Yeah, well, not necessarily double birds that go into grassland.
No.
I mean, it's good because it's 4 points, 5 X spaces, but it does take up an engine space. So for at this point in time, there's a difference between trying to score as high as possible and trying to win the game. And I think the Eastern Blueberry is a safe play that puts him in a position to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in these positions before where you've got those 2 grassland spaces left, and you think, oh, better save that for something good, and then you spend 2 rounds drawing cards and you don't get anything good. And you think, oh, I wish I just played something sooner. I think there's he's still got time to gamble. You get the catbird. That's again trying to read body language. He looks pretty happy with that. So I think that's probably going to go down. But really, he probably wants something like a barn swallow. You know, at the moment, what do you copy? You know, you copy the Kildor or the Raven. That's just sucking away more eggs. Oh my god, you get another Raven.
This is just kind of silly at
So
this point.
that's all four. He's had both Ravens and the Killdeer, and then obviously the Gull in the last game. In what, around a game and a half. He's seen all four of them. So,
Yeah, just going back to the Catbird, I think the Catbird is actually really good because it means you can copy the Killdeer early on, get shitloads of cards, or sorry, a large number of cards, and then just tuck them all underneath the Junko, get a lot of resources.
yeah, I know you are a fan of that, and yeah, I think it makes sense. You know, really, you can kind of gamble. Okay, draw lots of cards, like you say. Later in the game, you can copy the Junko, but maybe you draw, you know, a Bush Tit or something like that, and you can suddenly double up on all those tucks and get extra eggs as well. So, yeah, it's not a bad move. I think giving yourself the opportunity to see 4 cards a turn is so strong, and yeah, you don't often really get those opportunities with this kind of grass and setup.
Not entirely sure why. I mean, I sort of know why Groove played the Chimney Swift. He played the Chimney Swift just so he has a cup nest.
Yeah,
But he could have equally played the Oriole.
I don't.
Just use a couple more food.
I don't mind it. I think he's planning on using this as a kind of, you know, use the power of the Chimney Swift. So help get more cards. You know, he's not really got that strong engine in the wetlands to give him more cards. Viticulturist, there's a really nice pull. I think that Oriole that you were already talking about, that was probably already going to go down just for the points. But yeah, if that's going to help you on the Viticulturist, then it's strong as well. But I think the Chimney Swift as well, that nest box builder, you know, it's another star nest. It's going to help with the end of round goals and the bonus cards. So it's not a bad play. But yeah, I think that Oriole certainly is going to go down at some point as well.
I mean, for sure, we can't dismiss Groove's hand for now. I mean, already Woodpecker Hybrid Grip is a really good start, but he has maxed out both bonus cards already if he plays the Oriole.
Absolutely.
That's 14 points already. He's going to get this end of round goal.
Yep, and you know, I like these bonus cards that kind of stack well together. You know, you see these 4 birds that he will have played to meet the Viticulturist are also meeting the nest box builder. You know, he's only had to add the Chimney Swift and the Viri on top of those 4 to max out that second bonus card. So you're being efficient there. You're not having to play too many different kinds of birds to meet these kinds of bonus cards. So yeah, that's been a really nice pull for Groovenstein there. And yeah, like you say, if you're able to max out these bonus cards and snatch a couple of end of round goals, then you know he might still be in with a shot, especially considering how strongly he managed to come back in the end of game 1.
I mean, he's definitely still in the competition here. The Vim's tempo is looking a bit slow. He only has 5 birds down, and he had to
Canada Goose
deny
in the tray.
the thing. Yeah.
Canada Goose in the tray. Now you've got to deny that if you're Groovenstein, right? You cannot leave.
You have to. You have to. Yeah.
I mean, even without the Catbird, that Goose is like the perfect card because it's going to eat all those seeds from the Junko. And you know, you see Davim's already got way too much food. That Goose is going to solve that problem, but you throw the Catbird on top of that as well, and suddenly you're getting 4 tucks a turn under that Goose. Absolutely, yeah, not the kind of card that Groove wants to play, but sensible in denying there just to limit your opponent's point scoring opportunities.
Yeah, good bonus Catbird for the grassland. Groove is definitely doing really well here.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is managing this really well. You know, you're coming up against a strong engine, strong resource engine in what Davim's putting up, and yeah, he's managed to maximize. I think that Woodpecker. You know, we see finally in round 3, Davim gets his first cavity nest down, but so many turns Groove has managed to gain food and be the only one getting eggs from that Woodpecker. You know, 2 eggs a turn while getting all that food. It's been really nice for him, and yeah, helped him score a lot of points for sure.
I'll just take a minute to say hello to my friend Unearth Talonflame, a new member in the community.
Yes, hello, welcome. Yeah, we always like to get new members joining our Wingspan community. So there will be a link in the description of this video to come and join our Discord server. where you can take part in tournaments like this. So obviously this is a final, but we do have plenty of tournaments starting every couple of weeks really. So yeah, come and join us. You can take part in tournaments, you can play casual games. We have a lot of active members as well, and so many other parts of the community that's worth checking out. So yeah, if you're not part of the Discord, do definitely come and check us out. It's good fun.
Someone emphasized the OP bird displayed in the bingo. I don't know if you
I
noticed.
did see that. Yeah. When you have 3 played in 2 games, I think it deserves a different colour. So I'm fully on board with that. Okay, so I'm just trying to work out what birds Groove is going to try and play. So you see, you've gone for these 2 rodents. I'm imagining maybe is that spotted owl going to go down? It's another cavity nest. Maybe you chance it on the bonus card. He's certainly got some options here in terms of what he might look to play.
I mean, he definitely has. He has 2 bonus card birds to play already, and he's already maxed out 2 bonus cards. So
yeah. I mean, I'm
he's
trying
still
to.
looking fairly close for now.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. If he plays these 2 bonus cards, what could he look to get? If that Oreo goes down as well, 3-star nests, that gives you lots of options.
I mean, unfortunately, I think he ditched Forester at the beginning, so he can't get that.
That would be the perfect one, because if you're going to play the owl and the Oriole, you're going to max that out. So
Yeah, 8-point bonus card.
that'd be a shame. But Food Web Expert, your favourite bonus card, that'd be quite a nice pull potentially. So yeah, he's certainly got some options, and I think in a position like this, when you see your opponent build up such a strong engine like this, I think you kind of have to gamble on those bonus cards and hope you can get some nice ones. As we see, he's already got those 2 7-point bonus cards in his hand. But if you're able to get another 6-point bonus card, another 7 or 8 points, you give yourself every chance of coming back into this game.
I wonder if the Crow is still worth playing, because he could play the Crow and then try and contest this end of round goal, because the Vim is already maxed out only 5 eggs.
Yeah, potentially. I wonder if he might go for the bonus card bird that goes in the grasslands. You play that, you lay eggs once, and you get at least a tie, so that's another 3 points. Certainly gives some options. Interesting on the barn owl, probably not the bird I would have expected him to play, but yeah, it's another cavity nest, I suppose, and yeah, at least lets him lay that extra egg if he is going to try and contest for this end of round goal.
Yeah, but surely he should play a forest bird here. He's not exactly. He's making good food, but he's not making an excessive amount of food.
No, I mean, he's got a lot obviously in his supply at the moment, but he's got a lot of birds he wants to play. That Oriole's 3 food, the bonus card bird for the grasslands is 3 food, and you want to play that owl as well. That's another 2 food, and suddenly you're all out of food. So
yeah,
I don't know. I would have thought if you were going to play the owl, you'd have played it in the wetlands a couple of turns ago.
I think the barn owl is probably his least valuable bird.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think, yeah, the real strength of it would have been getting it down in that wetlands, because then you can lay eggs in it by gaining food and try and compete for the centre of round goal. By playing it in the grasslands, you're not going to score that many points off it. Really, those re-rolling powers, not the strongest. I think certainly, you already get the same number of points by playing that bonus card bird, but you get that gamble of maybe I get another 6 points from it. He's not going to get anywhere near that number of points from the barn owl.
He's early enough in the game that he can still accommodate for whatever bonus card it was.
Absolutely, and I mean the fact that he's had to move that Swift down for that end of round goal. Maybe he will look to draw cards again at some point anyway, just to move that back somewhere else. But yeah, I think if something nice comes up in the tray, obviously he's going to go first in that round 4. So certainly you give yourself options of being able to see that fresh tray, and yeah, maybe be able to pick up something good.
Baltimore going down.
Yeah, I'm imagining that we are going to see some eggs here. So I did wonder if maybe he was going to play the bonus card bird for the grasslands first, and then lay eggs a couple of times. But it does seem like, the Oriole was going to go down eventually, and now if he's going to gain food, he's going to get 5. so certainly can afford to play any of those birds really in his hand. But yeah, he obviously is going to struggle a little bit on this end of round goal now that Davim has played the Gallignule. That will get him up to 9, and I think that Groove can only get to 8 with these 2 turns laying eggs, so might be a bit of a lost cause there. I think he's probably at this point better focusing on just trying to get these big point birds down and yeah, maybe gamble on a bonus card or 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how many points he has. I think he's gonna just about hit 70 at the end of this round.
Is that Groove or Davim?
Groove, I don't know how much
Wow.
Davim has.
That's strong.
that is strong, yeah.
That's very strong, and
especially with another 2 bonus cards coming
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 57, and there's still a couple of turns left. That's a very strong position. And like you say, those 2 bonus cards. You know, if you pull a nice nest bonus card for 4 points, you know, I think something like Fishery Manager, you'd get a few from that. There's certainly options. You know, Rodentologist as well. If he's going to play that Owl, that's going to get him 4. So plenty of options here for Groovenstein to look at. And yeah, honestly, I think if Groovenstein wins this game, what a confidence boost that is going to be going into game 3. If you've just beaten a Raven Killdeer Junko setup like this, that is going to be very impressive. But still a long way to go in this game yet. I will put up a poll to see what our viewers think. But yeah, this is such a tough one to call.
I think because Groove already has his last round sort of sorted out, whereas the Vim is still trying to, you know, get cards to play essentially. So for now, the momentum seems to be in Groovestein's favor.
Absolutely, and yeah, I think a lot is going to depend on the card draw. You know, these birds that Davim's got in his hand, not really the kind you'd look to play. We already saw some of those big wetland bonus card birds disappear in the first round. That's what he wants to be drawing now, but with 2 of them already gone, does limit your options.
That Woodpecker would have been quite nice at this point.
Right, so yeah, as kind of expected, does look like Davim's going to comfortably take this end of round, and you do worry a little bit. You know, as soon as a player wins those first 3 end of rounds, it's difficult to fight back from that. But I think really that's just a testament to how well Groove has scored, considering how few points he's got from end of round goals, that he is still scoring so well in all the other categories.
Yeah, 59, and the Vim was on about 60. But as I said earlier, the Vim doesn't really have a lot to do this last round, whereas Groove still has plenty left in the bag.
Yeah, I think probably what is going to help Davim is the egg space. You know, he's got 18 egg spaces at the moment. He's already started throwing food, as you can see. You know, he's got way too much food at the moment. And yeah, if he's not drawing great cards, you can copy those tucks on the Junko. I think he has already started skipping the Raven as well, so really he's just kind of gambling on the card draw. But you know, when you draw these kind of birds like the Blue Jay, and I think there's a Grosbeak as well, really bad cards to be drawing at this point. So yeah, we could see Davim struggling a little bit here. He's going to need to be bailed out by some good card draw.
Unfortunately, I think we've cycled a lot of the good forest birds already, because we cycled we cycled two of the double birds. We cycled the cuckoo. We cycled the Baltimore Oriole.
Yep, and Groove's got the spotted owl as well. That's the kind of bird that Davim would really be looking for. So yeah, I mean, you have all those empty spaces in the forest that are kind of just begging to be filled up by these big point birds, these bonus card birds, and yeah, Davim just really not able to find any of them in the deck, and certainly struggling at this point in the game.
Oh, Groove just played the Canada Goose.
He did.
Honestly, I thought he was gonna do that, and I wished he didn't.
Well, you mentioned about the fish crow as well, so I think he's just about got enough food here. He can get the long spur down as well potentially, and then you lay eggs. You can get 4 eggs. You discard 1 and get 2 tucks. 5 points. Maybe gamble on the barn owl and hope for something there, but yeah, 5 points. it's certainly slower than the tempo he's had in the rest of this game. But yeah, maybe
Yeah, and the
maybe it
Canada
might get him over
Goose,
the line.
it's still a 3-point bird. It's not
Yeah,
that valuable. I think you get more value from. I mean, he's still gonna be able to play both the bonus card birds. I'm not sure he's only gonna play
no,
one of them.
yeah, he'll play one. He won't have enough. If he wants to play both, he'd have to skip the Canada Goose one turn. So not ideal. Yeah, I don't know. You, you did mention this kind of pivot before. It feels maybe slightly too late. Like you say, Goose, it's only 3 points. Fish Crow, after you paid the eggs, only 4 points. So really low points scoring turns there. So yeah, I think late Grassland's pivot maybe might get him over the line, but it's going to all depend on what this bonus card is from the long spur.
You know what we didn't take into account is that there's a whole 4 dice outside the bird feeder.
Oh, that is a very good point. And yeah, anyone who has seen my recent video looking at hunting powers, you get about.
He's so
50%.
excited if that's actually what ends up deciding the game.
you get about 50% chance of success on 4 dice. So yeah, if he gives himself a few chances at those rerolls, you know, maybe the dice are in his favour, and he's able to get some points there. But we did have a quick poll just there to see who our viewers are backing, and a massive 72% are backing Groovenstein at this point. So
I think people are hoping for an upset for game 3.
yeah, this wasn't do you want someone to win or do you think they will win? It was whichever you interpret it as. But yeah, I think, you know, all bias aside, I think we want to see a game 3. So certainly if Groove can hold on and nick this game, it will set things up really nicely for that game 3.
Yeah, I think this is the point in time where he's really trying to figure out if playing the long spur is worth it, or if he should just, because he can skip the fish crow activation if he doesn't play the long spur.
He can skip it a couple of times, and by laying eggs now, I think he's worked out that he does want to skip. So you know, you get 6 points from that turn. No rodents, that's sad. 6 points from the next turn, and then a couple of 5 points. So what's that? 22 points over the 4 turns. Yeah, maybe that is worth it. It would all depend on that bonus card on the long spur. You'd kind of need something that's probably about 6 points or more to make it worthwhile. But yeah, maybe things slowing down a little bit here for Groovenstein. But you know, we see Davim still struggling on this card draw. I think he drew the bush tit on the previous turn, which he probably would have liked to see quite a bit earlier. But yeah, I think at this point he's keeping on laying eggs, but he's very quickly running out of egg spaces. You know, he's only got 6 left. I think he wanted to play that loon at some point, but that's only got 1 space itself. So really not helping yourself there. And yeah.
LC just said, I tuned out for like 8 turns and DV hasn't played any more birds.
Yeah, and I think that tells you how bad the card draw has been. You know, he's seen 2 cards a turn for 6 turns and not drawn anything worth playing. It is unfortunate, but yeah, I do feel like it looks
massive
like Davim,
point difference between the two here.
It looks like Davim is going to take this. Obviously, Groove, we know, is going to get this last bit of round goal, so that's going to be worth a few more points. But yeah, kind of 6 points, 5 points a turn. That's already what Davim has been scoring for the last round or 2. Certainly. Yeah, you know, it's all going to be on the card draw. If Davim can't find anything and has a couple of dud turns at the end, not scoring many points, maybe Groove can pull it back. But
I mean, even if Davim plays the wet crossbill, that's still his first bird down. That's a 6 point turn.
6 points,
so.
yeah, and he's got plenty of seeds. So yeah, I think if he played the crossbill and laid eggs twice, he might just about have enough space to do all of that. But yeah, he's still got 1 more turn in. You know, that's enough to gamble. You can lay eggs once more and hope for something nice. But yeah, he's not really had the luck in that sense so far.
I think from that position, Groovenstein kind of had to gamble on bonus cards, you know.
Yeah. We've said this before. You know, when you're coming up against an engine like this, you have to gamble on bonus cards. Really, you have to hope you're going to get something good. It's not always right to you know, take that safe play.
Oh, we get a 7 point turn.
We get a 7 point turn, but yeah, I feel like Groove has played things a little bit too safe at the end here. I think gambling on those bonus cards. Certainly you look at that owl that has finally got its first success. Was that worth playing over something like the spotted owl to get that extra bonus card? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Very
It was.
nice. Very nice tool.
Yeah. Finally, he gets the woodcock. So, yeah, I can be pretty sure that's going to go down 9 points, and unfortunately, probably is the nail in the coffin there for Groovenstein. But yeah, he's looking at that wetland scientist. I think he did want to play that loon and something else. He's not really seen any more wetland birds, but there you go. That's the game sometimes, unfortunately.
He did. I think he predicted that he kept the great blue heron on at the start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we said it at the start. You see the great blue heron, you see those two nice bonus cards, bonus card birds in the tray. Those are the cards you look to pick up, not just with an engine like this, but with a bonus card like that as well. But yeah, seeing
93 points.
Seeing 3 of them so early just limits your options. But yeah, 93. So he's going to score 9 on the next turn, and then 7 on the turn after that. So he's going to easily get over 110 with that end of round as well.
He doesn't have enough spaces to score 7. 6.
How 6? Yeah, because the woodcock's only got 2, hasn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's not too. He'll still get over 110.
Acceptable.
which is acceptable with an engine like this. I think Groovenstein again is probably going to be. I don't know. Is he going to reach 100? I think he might just about. It might depend on how successful this barn owl is. But yeah, it certainly is not a bad score by any means, considering this engine he's had to come up against. But yeah, just unfortunate, I think, really, for Groovenstein coming up against all of these really strong birds. But I think certainly in this game too, and absolutely for that end of game 1, he has performed very strongly here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I know I'm beating on a dead horse a little bit, but he should have gambled.
Yeah, I think you do gamble. But, would it have made the difference if you're going to score in the 90s and your opponent's getting 110? Are you going to find that 16-point bonus card? Probably not.
But, I mean, the woodcock was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was, but I think, again, that's only a few more points. Even that crossbill, 6 points rather than 9. It's not a huge difference, and again, it's not a game-changing difference. When the scores are going to be like that. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued as to why Groovenstein's taking so long here. I almost wonder if he's having second thoughts and now deciding, if I use that fish crow to get a rodent and play the spotted owl, is that worth it? I think at this point it's probably a bit late. I think if you wanted to play one of those bonus card birds, you should have done it earlier.
No, because he has to get a seed.
Well, but this is the question: do you not get the seed? Do you instead take a rodent? Is that worth it? You're going to end up skipping those 2 tucks on the goose, but is this the time when you choose to gamble and play the owl instead?
I don't think this bonus card that can save him here.
No, he's thinking long and hard about
it. Maybe mechanical engineer.
Ah, there we go. I called it. He does go for the rodent, so yeah, you skip the 2 on the goose, and then you get a 3-point turn from the owl. So you've kind of already cost yourself like 5 or 6 points. Even one of the best bonus cards you could probably find is not going to score you that many. But yeah, we shall see if he can.
One thing we can safely say about that goose here, with both tucks underneath, is that it was not worth playing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah, it's effectively 6-point bird, and you had to pay extra food to get those tucks, so not great. And yeah, fishery manager, 3 points. Probably not made it worth playing that owl, I would say. I think laying eggs would have got more points, but like we said, you got to gamble. But yeah, interesting that he kind of clearly decided not to gamble earlier on when he didn't play the long spur, and instead just went for those eggs and then changed his mind and went for the gamble at the end there with the spotted owl. But as Davim finishes his final turn, does max out on those eggs, and we'll see the scores count up.
It must be said though that Davim has been probably the best player on the server for, I don't know, since the beginning of the server. So
I think it's been a long time coming for this this third tournament win for what it will be. You know, I said at the start it's been almost a year to the day since he won his last tournament.
yeah.
It's been a long time coming, but absolutely I can't begrudge him for this. Well played and well deserved to Davim, who wins the Vouillé Duck Dash 2-0
And
against
also,
Groovenstein in the final.
if I saw the stats at the beginning correctly, he only conceded one loss this entire tournament. What was it, 100% tournament?
I think it might have been 2, but yeah, obviously all of these being best of 3, there was a lot of 2-0 wins in there, and just a couple of 2-1s. But yeah, very very well played. Both players, very good wingspan on display. Hopefully you agree. And
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right, I will undeafen both players, and I'll see if they want to have a little chat about the game after that. I think first we'll come to Groovenstein, and do you have any words to say, Groovenstein? I think very well played, particularly in that second game, but always difficult coming up against an engine like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing about, you know, playing against somebody like Davim is you really there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. You know, you either if you get some bad luck on cards or you make mistakes, you know, I mean, he's gonna, you know, capitalize on it. And so you know, unfortunately for me, I didn't draw my OP birds until round 3 of the first game. So I was better late than never. Didn't quite apply there, I think. But no, I mean, it was you know, what do we always say, right? You got to do the best you can with what you have, and you know, Davim as usual always puts up a good game. So no shame there.
Really good games from your end, though. You know,
Yep.
I think you did the best you could, and it was really fun watching. And certainly you brought it a lot closer than we expected. I don't know if you saw the poll on this game. We had a poll around late round 3, who's gonna win. 76% of people voted for Groovenstein.
Huh. Wow.
We had a lot of Groove fans in the chat. I think they were hoping for a game 3, but no, very very well played, I think. And we do, I believe, have Davim here. So if you want to say a few words, just very first of all, congratulations. I know it's been a long time coming for you, waiting for this third win. So yeah, how are you feeling right now?
I feel good. But I also feel a bit sorry for Groove after those games, especially game 2. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, but you know, it happens. You know, you gotta make the most of those strong birds, and we saw some of your card drawing struggles. You know, all throughout rounds 3 and 4 of that second game. So
I was just looking for a wetland bird, but I remember in round 1 there was both
exactly
the wood stork and the other bonus card bird for wetland. So I guess that's why they didn't show up.
Absolutely.
I just have to say though, and I think Flan agrees, your round 1 was really impressive. I think we were both sort of thinking it was going to be a slow round 1, and you did it in a way that nobody expected, and it put you on a much better pace than we would have thought.
Yeah, I felt like I had to you know, draw some more cards, and actually that wetland bird kind of worked out because, you know, you're getting some points. But I feel like it wasn't the first draw. I get the raven, and
that raven came up pretty quickly, and being able to read your body language through a stream, we could see how excited you were to see that. So but no, thank you again, both players, for taking part, and again, obviously, congratulations to Davim for the tournament win. Commiserations to Groovenstein, but absolutely, you know, very well played. I think you know, bringing game 1 as close as it was and you know, putting up a strong score in game 2 as well. Absolutely no shame in that. And
Yeah, pretty great play, I feel like, from Groovenstein.
definitely.
Yeah, likewise, man. I'm really curious to hear the commentary, especially you know, I mean, the second game, I at least like felt for the most part like it was pretty. I mean, I don't want to say straightforward. There were some spots, but the first game, I think you know, my biggest struggle was, of course, not getting, you know, not having any food birds in the beginning, and
Yeah.
putting the decision to put that in, to put the black chin hummingbird in the wetland as opposed to going, you know, vireo hummingbird in the forest. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to go back and read the chat and hear the commentary on that, because I think that was kind of the you know, the inflection point.
Indeed, indeed. Right. Well, I think we'll probably wrap this stream up. So, yeah, thanks again to both players. Thanks again to Heartseed, who joined me in game 1 on commentary, and to Motherlove for joining me on game 2. And of course, thank you to all of our viewers who've tuned in. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Certainly a very entertaining couple of matches. And yeah, do stay tuned for future live streams. Thank you very much, everyone. See you all next time.